Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Onyx Path YouTube channel. I'm here, Matthew Dawkins, to take you through something that we recently set up. It's the Onyx Path Customer Survey 2020, and it's essentially being set up with a means to acquire some customer feedback on the kinds of games people like and the kind of games people want. We always find that when we send these kind of surveys out, we find something new that we didn't know before, and they're often quite informative. They inform how we're going to go on into the subsequent year in terms of business planning and so on, our strategies. So all feedback is incredibly valuable, providing you're polite and generally informative and not just telling us to piss off. Hello, Michael Snap. And hello, all 7 of you currently watching. This is going to be going up for people to actually watch after it's recorded as well. It isn't just a live-only stream. So let's go through the survey, shall we? If you are at a PC right now or have the means to do, well, 2 things at once, i.e. follow this video and fill in a survey at the same time, we can fill it in together. How about that? That's teamwork, isn't it? That's a bit of playtime. So let's do that. So you'll find in the video description below the link to the survey, which is very exciting, I know. And I already have the survey open. So let's open it up, shall we? And let's see what the questions are and what would Matthew Dawkins answer. So Onyx Path Customer Survey 2020. Thank you for taking time to help us get to know you better, says the survey. Your answers to our optional questions about you and your gaming preferences will help us plan our year ahead. It's true, we do actually plan our year ahead based on the kinds of things customers say they want and the kinds of things customers say they like. Please feel free to answer as many or as few of these questions as you're comfortable with. So not everything is mandatory, by no means. And as I say, the link is in the video description below, so please do fill it in. It's a bit of fun, won't take you long, and if you like what we do as a company, then you will have influence over what we're doing. So first question, what are your preferred pronouns? Mine are he, him, so that is what I would be going for. What country do I primarily live in? I primarily live in the United Kingdom, and ever since lockdown, I have not left the United Kingdom. Last place I travelled was America for the Midwinter Gaming Convention in what seems like probably about 40 years ago now, in January. What is my age? My age is, I've got to think about this now, 35 to 44. So I'm probably that average level age of gamer. What is your favorite Onyx Path RPG? Well, obviously my favorite Onyx Path role-playing game is probably They Came From Beneath the Sea or They Came From Beyond the Grave, if I'm feeling a little egotistical. And hell, why wouldn't I be? If I wanted to go beyond that, I'd say Wraith the Oblivion. Wraith the Oblivion has always been my favorite World of Darkness role-playing game, and I know it's a licensed game, but this question doesn't specify. What is your second favorite Onyx Path RPG? Well, here we go. This actually allows me to give both answers. So let's say They Came From Beyond the Grave for the first one. I'll go for Wraith the Oblivion for the second. I've got a strong undead theme in my life, which I'm sure most of you have picked up on by this point. Have you backed one or more Onyx Path Kickstarter projects? I have backed, yes, 10 plus Kickstarter projects, including sometimes games I've worked on because I like to receive a deluxe copy. If yes, which of our Kickstarters was your favorite and why? Again, how much bias should I put in here? My favorite Kickstarter project that Onyx Path has run actually might be the most recent one, Ghost Hunters, because it did a very interesting thing for a source book, bear in mind, for the World of Darkness. In the last week or so, the rate at which we just steamrolled stretch goals was really quite astounding. I also greatly enjoy the Kickstarters where backers really get into providing commentary and feedback on the manuscript, and that everyone gets amped up about it. And I remember everyone doing that a great deal with Chicago by Night and Cults of the Blood Gods too. So I would probably go for Ghost Hunters. It's fresh in my mind. Might be a bit of a cheat answer, but that's my answer. What kind of add-on options would you like us to have on Kickstarters? Well, I'm always a fan of dice that are specific to games. It's a bit of a novelty. I've got more than enough dice. Most role players do, but I do love dice. I love virtual tabletop add-ons as well, especially in this time of pandemic. Most of us are playing online nowadays, and so having tools, resources to use on places like virtual tabletop, astral tabletop, Roll20 is only a good thing. Of course, I'm a big fan of stretch goals too. It helps keep me employed, but also I think people like to receive more books when they back their games. Finally, what else would I like as an add-on with a Kickstarter? If it were possible to gauge the size of a book, so let's say it's already written or maybe even laid out, maybe getting slipcases for some of those books, that would be nice. I like protecting the most valuable books on my shelves. Have I created and published a community content PDF on DriveThruRPG? If yes, please share the link below. I suppose here's where I should be putting Clanbook Blood Brothers and Clanbook Ghiberti. I don't think I did anything else on the Storyteller's Vault, but that would be it for me. Where do you primarily purchase your Onyx Path RPGs? Is it DriveThruRPG, Indie Press Revolution, local game store, Kickstarter, conventions, or other? DriveThruRPG for me. Where I live, there isn't a local game store, and sometimes Leisure Games, which is the biggest gaming retailer I'm aware of in the United Kingdom, does stock Onyx Path role-playing games, but more often than not, I buy from DriveThruRPG because I think their print-on-demand quality is top-notch. I've never had a problem, and I've bought a lot of books through DriveThruRPG, not just Onyx Path ones. Have I played any Onyx Path games online using virtual tabletop tools? The questions or potential answers being yes, using Roll20, yes, using Astral Tabletop, yes, using Discord, Skype, Google Hangouts, yes, using a service not listed here. No, I've not played virtual tabletop. I've actually used all of the suggestions there. So Roll20, Astral, Discord, Skype, and Google, and a service not listed there. I've used Facebook groups and Messenger too. Did I watch or attend the Onyx Path Virtual Gaming Convention? I did happen to attend it to some degree, yes. And I played in games and I ran games. Am I interested in participating in another Onyx Path Virtual Gaming Convention? With enough lead-in time? Yes, definitely. I think it was a lot of fun and we really engaged the fans during that lengthy weekend. How often do I watch RPGs live streaming on Twitch or other platforms? So here's where I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I don't mind streaming things. I'm doing a stream right now. You are watching it. But my engagement with such things is that I'm more than happy being a creator, but as an audience, not so much. I find a lot more enjoyment writing games and running games than I do being a non-participatory audience member. And so that's always, for me, cut me off from watching even some of the best actual plays out there. And I'm a big fan of some of the actual plays we've got. The ones on the Onyx Path Twitch channel that I love is Purge of the Serpent Holds for Scarred Lands is fantastic, and the group for that is hilarious. I love that. I listen to the Red Moon role-playing team, not just the games they run or play with us, but Red Moon role-playing are always fantastic. Occultists Anonymous and their Mage the Awakening Chronicle is also great. But yeah, there are some good ones, but I probably watch RPGs live streaming monthly, I would say, rather than weekly. How often do I play RPGs in person or online? Weekly, many of them. Do I play other RPGs, such as D&D and Pathfinder? Yes, I was running Pathfinder on my Patreon until recently. Call of Cthulhu or other Call of Cthulhu mythos? Yes, I'm running Call of Cthulhu on my Patreon. Savage Worlds? No, not recently. Cypher System? Yes, big fan of that. Numenera, The Strange. Powered by the Apocalypse? I'm not a massive fan of Powered by the Apocalypse myself as a creator, but I love playing it. Shadowrun, haven't played it in quite a while. Fate, again, haven't played in quite a while. And Warhammer, the same goes for that. When did I first start playing RPGs? Oh, 10 or more years ago. Do I enjoy RPG-related other media, such as novels, anthologies, comic books, audio dramas, art, or making of books? Yes, I do. I really love histories of RPGs. I think they're good fun. I love art books of RPGs. I wrote the arts notes, the sort of director's commentary on the art of Werewolf the Apocalypse, and that was great fun because I love werewolf art. What types of RPG supplements am I most interested in? For me, as anyone familiar with me knows, I'm a big fan of utility in games. I always say it, but it's true. And so player's guides are helpful because I want a book a lot of people want to pick up. I like a book with a lot of resource in. Jump starts at the same, anything that can ease convention play and therefore introduce people to gaming. I also like clan books, faction books, because if it's a setting book that I'm really invested in, I want to get right into the heart of the things I'm playing. Is there any other information you'd like to share about playing Onyx Path RPGs? Yes, I am one of your developers, Onyx Path, so you should have already known these answers. Do I have a podcast, blog, streaming channel, or other media focused on RPGs? Yes, we have a podcast. It's called the Onyx Pathcast. You may have heard of it. We have a blog. It's on theonyxpath.com. We release a new Monday meeting blog every Monday night or Tuesday morning, depending on where you are in the world. I have a streaming channel. You're looking at it, as well as the Gentleman Gamer channel, and so on. And of course, there's the Twitch Onyx Path. So twitch.tv/the Onyx Path. Can we follow up with you if we have questions or would like more information? If yes, enter your email. No, you may not. Although I have every feeling that Rich Thomas and co will probably follow up with me whether I want them to or not. So yeah, that's me done. I've answered the survey, and the reason that I talked all the way through it is to demonstrate there's a very simple survey. I spent longer on it than you probably will, just because I was talking through every single answer rather than typing them up. So let's see what questions we've got on the chat. Okay, we've got lots of hellos and highs from Kenneth Williams, Simon Angant here, Nicholas Milioni. Oscar says, do you know, please, what's going on with the V5 Player's Guide and Second Inquisition books? Oscar, that's a question for Modiphius and Paradox. They aren't Onyx Path books. Simon says, can I use abbreviation in answering favourite Onyx Path RPGs such as VTM, V20? Of course you can, yes. We will know what you're talking about. Michael Snap says, it's good to know we can include license lines as well. I don't know if that was entirely clear. Well, we would prefer that people loved the games that we purely own, but by all means specify if that's not the case. Preston Bobo, I always have the best survey responses. I'm sure you do. Jay Beatty says, will there be anything for the Sabbat for 5th edition? I have no doubt there will, although we have nothing on our schedule at Onyx Path. That doesn't mean there aren't other companies working on it. Sebastian Freeman says, dice was my answer too, even for those of us who don't get physical books. Who doesn't like a nice set of dice? Mr. Mister made it in time. The Luck still says, well, will we meet again? Kenneth Williams says, Boston by Night, which is another fantastic actual play. Simon has completed the survey. Kenneth has completed the survey. And Hiraeth has apologized for calling me Matt last time. And it will be the last time that you call me that, Hiraeth. Believe me, it will. If you repeat my name 3 times in a mirror, I will come to find you and make sure you never call me Matt again. So, with all that done, that's the Onyx Path survey. I hope that's been enlightening. Please do click on the link below. If you have any questions, I've got a few minutes remaining before I need to get back to doing some real work. And we've got another completed survey from Daniel Atson. There you go. It was worth doing this. People have engaged with the stream and have just all suddenly started wanting to complete surveys. Yeah, it was a quick talk, Simon. It's only a 14-minute video, and to be honest, I was wondering if it would be even shorter. I think it's only because I went into the amount of detail I did on my survey answers that it's gone on for as long as it has. So here we go. I'll answer 5 questions if people have got that many questions. So if you've got a question for me for Onyx Path, I might be able to answer it. I may be able to do my level best. So if you have something, please post it now. And same to you, Christopher. Have a great day to you too. Thank you, Jay, for completing a survey as well. Wow, I didn't know so many people would complete it as I was doing this stream. That really worked. Have to do these kinds of things more often. No questions then. Well, that's good. Oh, do I plan on continuing the Dawkins guide to Clan XXXXX? Asked Simon. Yes, if people pay for it. That is separate from Onyx Path. That's on my Gentleman Gamer channel. But one of my Patreons paid for that video on the Zimishi or Jimishi or whatever. And because my time is generally quite stretched as it is with all the writing and development and other videos making, I very rarely get a chance to make something like a Gentleman's Guide to Vampires anymore. So if people want that, they can by all means essentially commission a video on a subject of their choice. And I will tell them if that subject is good to discuss or not before they put the money down. So by all means, always query it. But if you want my time, by all means, put a few dollars down and pay for it, and I will give you my time. Preston Bobo says, Scion Masks and Dragon Kickstarter, December. That might be a good idea. Well, let's see. I hope we manage to fit it in by the end of the year. That would be nice. Our next Kickstarter is Dead Man's Rust for Scarred Lands, our Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting, which is doing very well. The Frostlands of Fenric did very, very well when we released that a couple of weeks ago, and I strongly recommend you check that out if you love your sort of polar, wintry campaign settings for D&D. But Dead Man's Rust is a mega campaign that really takes you through the depths of the Scarred Lands, and I really recommend it. Null Entropy says, I would really like to have some videos that explain the lore of Wraith and Changeling. English is not my mother language, and I'm having a hard time to understand the basics. Well, this probably isn't the channel for you to go into the deep lore stuff, but if that is what you would like me to do, by all means, go over to patreon.com/Matthew Dawkins, and you can, by all means, request videos on that subject. I am happy to make videos on Wraith or Changeling. Wraith is my favorite World of Darkness game, so that is within my power to do. Kaiser Afini says, one logistical question, please. Is there any reason why regular shipping can't be done to Brazil? Shipping physical books by premium only can get very expensive. That I do not know. If that's a question for DriveThruRPG, I recommend sending it to them. If this is a Kickstarter-based question, I recommend using the contact button on Kickstarter, and they will inform you as to why. It's probably something like shipping costs, but that's purely a guess on my part. So we have asked 4 questions, 1 question to go, and then I sign off to do a little more redlining. My pleasure, Kaiser Afini. I'm glad to have helped. 1 more question. Make it a good one, or make it a silly one. You know, it's simply 1 question. We've got a later folks from Simon. No, don't leave yet. You're going to miss the best question. There you go. Here we go. Why is Wraith your favorite? Isn't it like Game Over, You're Dead? How does it get attractive to players from there? Because when you're dead, you've got so many things left to live for. It's no more the end than when you become a vampire in Vampire the Masquerade. Wraith the Oblivion is all about all the things you lost, all the things you left unfulfilled when you were alive, and now you get a second chance to do the things you never had a chance to do before. You get to fight injustice as well, the hierarchy of Stygia. You get to visit different afterlives by traveling to the far shores. You get to become a part of an incredibly clandestine and intricate system of guilds and magical powers called Arcanoi, and you get to fight with the worst parts of yourself as a tangible antagonist in the case of your shadow, and sinking into all kinds of harrowings that can result in brilliant role play. I think if you play Wraith the Oblivion as you're dead, that's it. You've kind of maybe missed the point of the game. It can be an incredibly optimistic game because it's the game that allows you to do the things you never got a chance to do when you were alive. It's also incredibly relatable because most people in the world have experienced death of a loved one, of someone they've known, someone they've worked with at some point or other. So I think we can all relate on some level to the idea that someone may have died without having a chance to say goodbye, or I love you, or pay off a house or settle a debt or get vengeance on the person that killed them, that kind of thing. So there's a hell of a lot that you can play with in Wraith at both personal and a political level. So there you go. That's why Wraith is my favorite. It is the deepest World of Darkness game, in my opinion. And as I took some time answering that, we've had more questions in. Kenneth Williams says, what's my favorite clan in Vampire? That changes every single time someone asks me, Kenneth, because I genuinely don't have a favorite. I think what makes vampires the most interesting is the person that became the vampire more than the clan. But there are certain clans I like more than others, I suppose that's fair to say. Right now, my favorite clan in Vampire the Masquerade is the Hecata. Image asks, I wanted to start Mage of the Awakening 2nd edition, but there's no physical book available. Why not opening regularly Kickstarters for former books? Print on demand is low quality when you like books to be books. I've got a print on demand version of Mage of the Awakening 2nd edition, and it is as good as any traditionally printed book I've got on my shelves. I'm not going to pull it out. I was about to, but I realized I'd probably take the bookcase down with me, and that would be a bad way to end the video, wouldn't it? Or it might be a fantastic way of ending a video, depending on how much you like me or dislike me. But yeah, Mage the Awakening is available on print on demand. We would have to be given the authority by Paradox to release traditional prints of the Chronicles of Darkness game lines, and the ones that have been kickstarted, such as Mummy the Cursed, Deviant, Geist, Changeling, do have retail releases, but Mage the Awakening 2nd edition, Wealth the Forsaken, Vampire the Requiem were not funded by Kickstarter. Neither was Promethean, for that matter, and so we didn't fund a print run for those. Kickstarter, as well as funding the creation of deluxe or prestige editions of books, funds the ability for us to be able to get our books into retail, because that comes at a cost. It comes at the cost of distribution, of storage, of all kinds of things, and we can't just do that from nothing with Mage. And you have to wonder, would there be sufficient backing for a Chronicles of Darkness game that's been out for several years now to have a Kickstarter purely for a print run in stores? Because if you're just paying to purchase a book, you're not really funding that. I don't know, maybe, but I'm not sure. It would have to be discussed, and most importantly, Paradox would have to approve it. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm sorry it may not be the answer you want, but as I say, I'm really happy with my print on demand copy. Loads of the books around me are print on demand. I have not had one fall apart. And I don't work for Drive-Thru RPG. There is no reason for me to sing their praises, or Lightning Source, the printer over here that does their books, but I have never once had an issue. So thank you very much, Preston Bobo, for doing a survey. I am now going to get on with my day, but thank you very much, everybody. And do check out the survey in the link, well, in the description below. If you haven't already, that would be a great help. So bye-bye. Bye-bye.